because we mentioned DM's Guild, it would be remiss of me not to mention the copyright and IP issue. Some
Oh,
creators refuse to publish on DM's Guild because of this, but I'm not sure what the pros and cons are of why you would want to post there anyway, and what reasons you would have to not post on there.
It's
The
complicated.
reason,
Go ahead.
yeah, it's very complicated. Hopefully, I can sum it up quickly. The reason that you would not publish on there is you do not want to share 50% of what you make. That is your number one and only reason to not publish on DM's Guild. Okay? If you're doing something for Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, you should probably do it on DM's Guild. It does cost you half. No joke, no qualms. 50% is gone, and then you split the rest of the 50 up among whoever's involved in the project for royalties. The reason you do want to publish on the DM's Guild is because a product that might get 50 or 100 eyes will get several 100,000 eyes on it on the DM's Guild.
That's
First
like,
day at
like
launch.
selling on Amazon. There is a little bit of a marketing machine behind it that will definitely push the visibility a lot more. Obviously, your product has to be of quality or be able to get noticed as something like visually striking or interesting concept.
You get the eyes on it immediately.
And
There's
for
no
me, like I don't sell on DM's Guild because I have an established audience outside of pure D&D, and I want to sell my things on my website and create print products to sell at conventions and stuff, which I can't do if I sell on DM's Guild.
right.
Getting outside.
If you
sell a
that
book,
marketing machine.
Yep, I can't. So as a member of DM, or if your product is in DM's Guild, you cannot buy copies to sell at a convention at a rate that would be financially reasonable.
that was going to be or related to my next question, is that if you have stuff on DM's Guild, are you not able to have that anywhere else for sale?
Nope.
Okay.
Nowhere else.
Just
If it's
DM's
on DM's Guild, it is only DM's Guild.
Okay. Now, does that
So
also
you're sort of marrying? Oh, go ahead.
Well, no, I was just going to say, does that also mean that the content that you put into your product can be whatever, like you can use whatever IP from Wizards and or Dungeons and Dragons that you want without having to worry about like any copyright or trademark or anything like that?
Pretty much. There's a little bit of limitations on like which specific setting you can use, but for the most part, anything in D&D is free to play in terms of the setting.
Okay.
There is a pretty big wrinkle a lot of people don't know about. Again, one of the reasons that you would publish to DM's Guild is that you know that you can have access to 35 years of back catalog lore, characters, established IPs already, Dritz and things like that. People, like names and places people know, and you can use them in your product, which is insane. So that 30% or that 20% is Wizards' cut of the 50 that they take. The rest is hosting for DriveThruRPG. That 30% goes to keeping the servers and advertising and bundles and all this back-end shit that you don't want to do yourself unless you already have an established IP. The wrinkle is that you cannot make something up in the Forgotten Realms. You can't say, oh, there's a long-lost city of ancient elves near Waterdeep. There wasn't.
Okay.
And you cannot do that. They will take your money and cut it off the guild, right? So that's just part of it. You have to be very respectful, and you should really, if you get into using the DM's Guild, read the incredibly robust IP thing that they show their new creatives.
So Lawrence made a related.
Would it be worth a new creator publishing something that they don't care about too much, but they want to make well? Publish it on DM's Guild to get recognition before they branch out on their own?
Yes.
Reasonable strategy.
Okay, so Lawrence in the chat, I want to address really quick because he mentioned RPG DriveThru. What would be the pros and cons between those two? Obviously, there would be some copyright and trademark issues going through RPG DriveThru. So what would you weigh the advantages or disadvantages there between those two?
So technically selling anything outside of DriveThruRPG, if you're making 5th edition material, it's through the OGL. And that's just a license on what you can create with the D&D rules. and the rule set. You can publish that anywhere, whether it's on DriveThruRPG, whether it's on itch.io, whether it's on your own storefront, wherever. You're unrestricted in what you do with it, but you can't use Driz Duerden or Elmister or any of the characters' Forgotten Realms stuff. You have to create something that maybe references things similar to the world, or things that could be placed into that world without being, without being like the Baby Bestiary. That doesn't even have 5th edition rules, so it doesn't even cover OGL. But the fact that the creatures would fit in the world or are from the inspiration, from the art style, is where I advertise to D&D because it fits in that fantasy.
Publishing on DriveThruRPG is very, very good if you have a system agnostic thing that you would like to publish. If you have a non-specific Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition thing that you would like to publish. But again,
or a Kickstarter.
You're going to be competing with people looking at other RPGs. You're going to be competing with people looking for specific creators, specific products. So it's a lot narrower margin of eyes that are interested in what you're doing. Whereas on the DMs Guild, every single person there is looking for specifically Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition stuff. Like, that's what they're there for. So your product is going to be titillating as anything else on the table.
Okay.
Yeah, so the most part is if you're doing not DriveThruRPG, not DM's Guild, you're pretty much like going to be kickstarting it or have other plans for that product outside of one ecosystem.
Okay. Thanks for listening to this clip. You can see the full interview by clicking the link in the description, or you can click the thumbnail on the bottom left of this video. And don't forget to hit subscribe. Have a great day.